Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tea Time with Amy and Bev. Good day.
Good day. How are you?
Uh, Fabulous. It's an exciting day. Um, by the time this comes out, by the time this video is released, it will be a few days past what's happening today. For myself, let me add a little light to my life. There we go. Brighten myself up. Anywho, today, as we were recording this afternoon, I'm receiving an award and very unexpected. And it was interesting that what came up for me when I was told that I would be getting the award. And I have gone through imposter syndrome before, as far as stepping into the world of coaching. Who's going to listen to me? Why do I think I have enough information or knowledge to be able to do this? Um, am I going to be good enough at the like all the things? And it's very common, especially for coaches. It's very common for those things to come up and can and contemplate imposter syndrome. It could even be just getting a promotion at work. You know, you went from maybe the receptionist and now you're stepping into a management role or something like that. Um, and so when I was told that I was receiving this award, my head started spinning. Oh my God, what are people going to think? Now, I'll tell you why, because of the topic, the category that I was entered into. And I was nominated for this. This was somebody who knows me who nominated me for this award. But the topic is religion and inspiration. And it wasn't the inspiration piece, it was the religion piece, right? Because I am in an organization of all women, almost right about 50 women, and probably more than half of them go to church or are devoted to their religious practices, whatever, and they know I'm not. And when it was announced to them, because this organization is the one that nominated me, when it was announced in front of all of them and I'm standing there, I just felt my inside sink. It wasn't a joyful moment for me. I just like, oh God, what are they going to think? Like immediately, what are they going to think about me? What are they going to be talking about? What are they going to be saying to each other about? Like, just my head went rampant. And I couldn't even in that moment when they announced it have the level of excitement that I would have liked to have had. So after it took me a couple days, I went back because this person who nominated or called me to ask me if I would accept the nomination just to apply. I told her, sure. I was in the middle of taking care of my mom in another state, in the hospital. I had all these things going on. And she says, well, I don't know enough about your story. Will you write up your um, submission? I said, sure. So in my mom's hospital room, I'm putting this nomination content together. So after it was announced in front of all these women, a couple days later, I went back. I said, you know what? I really need to set aside the religion title and I need to remember the inspiration. And I went back and read what I wrote. And my immediate thought was, you know what? I don't give a fuck. They don't know my story. Most of them haven't even taken the time to get to know me. They don't know my story. They don't know the things I've been through or experienced. They don't know the journey it took for me to get where I was to where I am. So, like, just going back and reading what I had submitted completely shifted my perspective of what other people may be saying about me. And you know what? To be honest, it was probably announced and then they were like, great, and moved on with their life like the rest of us because we were so busy and have so many things to do. Like, 20 minutes later wasn't even a thought. So people go through this imposter syndrome. They go through this because of the um, lack of confidence, self-esteem, belief in themselves, um, too worried about what other people are thinking about them. So judgment, criticism, like it's a whole package. And first of all, I just want people to know it's common. It's common. None of us want to be judged. We want to be accepted. But the other piece of that was I had to remind myself. I didn't go crying to somebody else. Oh, what do you think? What are your thoughts about, like, I went within myself and said, I have to shift this. This is my mindset and it's the way I'm perceiving what's going on. And probably not any of it is true. So I had to take the steps necessary for me to pull myself up out of that. And by reading that submission just really shifted everything. So now I'm super excited. I'm gonna go do this today.
Nice. And it's like there's so much stuff there to unwrap. The triggering is awesome because it still lets you know there's still some stuff in there. And I feel like where you're going, and I feel like this can apply to everybody, where you're going is so much grander, but it's like working through these little kinks that you might still have within self and has nothing to do with anybody else. And then my mind thinks, holy smoke, spirit knows what spirit's doing, because to put you into that category is going to get the attention of other people and think, oh, religious, I'd like to see what this is about. And that might be the draw for some other people, for them to actually get the opportunity to listen to the words that you have to say and to give them a different perspective, which really is outside of religion in that practice. So
Yes.
it's like it's such a, and that gives me goosebumps. There's such a gift in all this. And the thing is, because we think we know what's best, right? We really just do. And not having an attachment to that, and that's not easy. And I don't really even know how to define imposter syndrome. I've heard it quite a few times lately, and I feel like, yeah, for me that would apply in a lot of ways, because I feel like, well, and it comes down to that self-worthiness, that self-confidence, that deserving, all these things, and all it is letting you know again what's reflecting inside of yourself. So it's just bringing you back to you, and you walked through it, and then you came through and reread what you wrote, which was probably written by spirit through you, and it's like, oh no, there is absolutely nothing for me to be fearful in this situation. It's not for my concern to be worried about. And it's like, gosh, even when you receive that information, you were in a space of a bunch of energies that may be in a judging space. And so that might have come forward too. So not even realizing, all of a sudden you dipped down right into everybody else's energy and you took it for a little while. I mean, there's so many possibilities, but either, no matter how you look at it, there's a growth from all of it. Even for myself, hearing all of this, you talking about the imposter syndrome, you talking about the other stuff, the self-confidence, not thinking that you're good enough. Because I could step into your shoes for a moment there and recognize it is, what do you, it's not, for me, it'd be almost when you were saying, come on, let's go do these videos, let's go have these conversations. And it's like, why are you asking me? Like, it put me into such a space, but it triggered so much things inside of me and my growth. And recognizing there was something so much bigger than myself, that was trying to lead the way the whole way. But it's like, no, no, I want it to stay just exactly the way it is, but I want things to be better, but I want it to stay exactly the way it is.
Oh, girl, you know how many times I thought that in my journey.
100%.
Ooh, yeah, the journey just to be able to be able to speak in front of people. Wow. And today I get to do that too. They said, tell you, you have 3 minutes for a speech. That's it. So, um, I just want to tell you, I've said it before in other videos. I love AI as a tool. And so, yes, I used it to help me create my speech. And I tell it, even though it says 3 minutes, I told it two. Give me, I need to write a 2-minute speech for accepting this award, blah, 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 blah. And then I go, it provides info, the speech, and then I go in and edited it to fit my tone and the things I wanted to share. So and just in reading that was like, yeah, I deserve this. And that's, that's the other thing, deserving it. It's a gift that's being presented to me. It's a gift that they even nominated me. It's a gift that they see these things in me that I didn't know. I don't know, and I know I've said this before too. People are watching you. People are watching you. They're watching what you say, what you do, your actions, like they're watching you, and you're surprised on days when it comes to the surface of being nominated for an award, or you're just at a group meeting and you say your name and somebody goes, "Oh, are you Amy with the Tea Time podcast or Tea Time off YouTube?" Or I'm like, "Yeah, I have no idea who these people are, but they're watching." And so and even on social media, putting those social media posts out. So my biggest thing has been to be and do better in myself, so I can be and do better for others. um do I get in a funk? Yep. Do I get cranky? Yep. Do I get sassy? Yep. Like I go through all the things too. It's not 100. I'm not on point 100% of the time, not expected to. But even so, I noticed a slight shift in me of like, wow, people are recognizing me that for this. And so how can I amplify that? How can I be even better? So and just, it's the year of the fire horse, and I feel that stirring in me, and things are moving and grooving, and it's actually another step of getting more active in my social media and starting to cultivate my coaching business. Because for people who don't know, I have a full-time job, more than a full-time job, and cultivating a business on the side. If anybody has done that, it takes a lot of energy to be able to have harmony within the two, and have your life, like your personal life, if your spouse, your kids, your household, like it's a lot to add onto a plate. It's like going to the buffet and your plate's like piled high. Every time I go get a salad, I think, oh, I'll just get a little salad on my plate. No, it like ends up like 6 inches high. It's huge. That's kind of my plate right now. So, but it's all for the growth, though. It's all for, I talked to another lady not too long ago who she's been in an industry, her career for, I think she said 27 years, and recently made a complete shift, quit her job, went into a different field in the similar under this similar umbrella, but just a different part of it. And she's like, man, am I being pushed to grow? I am being pushed to my limits. I am expanding. She's just saying all these things, and I'm like, but she knew it was time for her to do that. She felt it in herself that where she was stagnant and then not feeling any kind of personal growth. And so she's like, it was just time. I needed something else that's going to push me to grow more.
Nice. But it is time. This is the time.
Yeah. And so it's like, letting just audience know that if you feel something stirring in you, just take a step in a different direction. Again, I have this full-time job. Some weeks it requires 50, 60 hours, and finding or creating, not finding, but making the time to cultivate what it is that I'm actually passionate about. In my job, yes, I get to make a difference in that space with women, which is what I prefer to work with as far as my business goes. But in my job, I get to do that as well. And in my coaching business of teaching and stuff, I have more freedom and flexibility on how I can show up and what I can say and all those things. The other world is very business-like and more proper. And it's like, if you've watched our videos for a while, you know, I'm F-bomb kind of girl. And sometimes I have a potty mouth, and I don't have that. I have that more with my own business. So it's like, I want to have the more of the freedoms. Even just having my mom be in the hospital, I had to be there for I didn't have to, I got to be there with her for 3 weeks, and feeling the pressure of the job. You know, I got to get back, I'm getting behind, people are depending on me and all these things. And so another piece of the fire is to give some more energy to my business. And this, accepting this award, is part of that plan, I think. Part of Spirit's plan anyway, for sure, because of what I just went through with all of it.
It's preparing you for something bigger, but that's how I feel. I feel like it is preparing you for something bigger. And if we always look at things like that, we have these wants and needs, or these feelings, like this passion that we want to do these things. And sometimes we don't know how to get there from here to there. And in order to get there from here to there, you have to walk the journey. We can't just jump on the jet plane or the portal. I mean, we can, I think, but we just haven't gotten to that point yet and zip right to that space. And so it's just this progression. We get to watch this unfolding, and it's an awesome thing, because to me, everything that you're talking about is growth for all of us. It's growth for all of us in every part of our journey that's happening right now. It's not something, it's relevant, and it's helpful. So everyone has an opportunity. They have a choice to step into a different path if they want to. And it's so subtle. It doesn't have to, we all think it's got to be something big. We're always thinking about purpose and all this stuff. It's like I was telling Freeman the other day, I'm like sitting on the couch and I said, maybe this is part of my purpose. And I'm sitting there loving on my dog. I'm just like totally connected with my dog, one of my dogs at that moment. And we're just totally loving on each other. That was my purpose in that moment. But we think in a lot of ways it's got to be so grand and so much bigger. And that is grand, and that's big, and that's huge, because that puts so much power into the world. You going through your process that lasts for a couple of days, you walk right through it. I see you. You got to make an AI image of you walking through fire or something like that, coming out, and everything's blown up behind you, and it's like you got a smile on your face, and everything is good because you're on the other side of it,
Yeah.
and you no longer have to carry the shit anymore. That's the awesome thing. It's not, that's part of that is gone, and when it comes up, it'll be just like, oh, okay, you're okay, you're okay. I'll give you a hug for a second, and you're good, and then that's it.
And also in that, what I had to remind myself of too, just I just thought about this, is if someone is judging you for something, that's on them. So whatever they're talking about, whatever they're saying or thinking, um, that's on them. And I am a mirror to them. Everybody's a mirror to each other, and I'm a mirror to them. So what is it in me that they can't yet see in themselves, or they do see in themselves and they haven't yet tapped into? Or it could be, and hopefully this isn't the piece for me, but um, I'm showing them something about themselves they don't like. Like,
They have a judgment about it, right?
that's
They
right.
have a judgment about it because someone else taught them a judgment about this,
But because
and it
I'm
has nothing
showing
right.
up, yeah, because I'm showing up and being that external display of their internal world, they struggling with it, and now they got to criticize it. Whereas if it's just their own internal world beating themselves up for whatever, or having these desires that they haven't yet stepped toward, or feeling uncomfortable within themselves with their own uh spirituality, religion, whatever that is, and they haven't done anything different, and here I'm showing up in my the way I am, and they're uncomfortable with that because I'm displaying maybe some joy that they wish they had, and so they got to put me down to make themselves look better. And it doesn't matter if it's an external verbal conversation, or an internal conversation with themselves. The judgment is not, it's about me because I'm showing up to be the mirror for them, but ultimately it's about themselves. in something they're uncomfortable with within themselves. So this is where we can turn that around and let other people, and I learned this years ago, it's not, still to this day, sometimes not that easy. I'm dealing with a uh, somebody whom I'm around on a regular basis, who I'm I'm doing my best to sift through what it is that I don't really care about her, because whatever she is showing me, it's in me, and I'm allowing the process for it to come to the surface so I can actually see it. And then the work is in me. It's not for her to change. She is who she is, and that's not for her to change so I can be happy. It's for me to look at what is causing the discomfort in me about her behavior, her, the way she talks, her body language, whatever the case may be. So I'm sifting through that right now as we're having these recordings at this time in my life.
Nice. And she's basically guiding you to your own happiness,
Yep.
because now she's lit something off for you to kind of follow the trail, and you're following the trail. And you just kind of gave a breakdown. Well, you didn't just kind of, you gave a breakdown of how people can do the same thing. It's not to sit and blame other people, because guess what? When you're sitting and blaming other people and judging other people, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. That's your gauge. It just doesn't feel good. And so go in the opposite direction, and it's empowering. Now you've taken back control of your own power. You're not throwing it out at somebody else. You've brought that power back into yourself, and then you're using that power to help guide you on this journey, so that you're, again, I don't know why I was shown a mailbox, but anyways, again, you're being able to bypass a lot of the trauma or the suffering that we put ourselves through to process all this stuff. When you're just going straight to the gate, like, nope, we're good. We're good. I'm going to walk through this. Everything's going to be fine, because now I get to see something. I'm learning more about myself and why it's there. Because if we don't start looking at ourselves, we still carry this stuff with us the whole time. Or we still walk around with that. I'm happy, but there's always something a little hanging around, and your butt's disappearing.
Right.
And not in a physical way, but in the whole world way. Like your the distractions, the pulling you off of balance or out of harmony is disappearing,
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
took your power back.
And you know what? Something I thought about years ago too, or actually was told from a mentor. She said, and it was in a class setting. It wasn't just directed at me, but she says, if people are talking about you, that means they're leaving everybody else alone. It's like, okay, well, there you have it. We're not picking on anybody else, and I can handle this, so it's all right.
You're welcome.
And then on top of that, it goes for myself, it goes for Bev, it goes for everybody. Um, if we're spending time judging somebody, you've just wasted time on something that you can't get back. Like, you can't get that time back. You just spent time, whether it was a 1 second thought, or a 10-minute conversation with a friend, or a continued conversation throughout the day. How much of that time did you spend talking about somebody, and you can't get that time back to do something else that's more productive for you in your life, or to amplify your own joy, or and I'm glad. I actually am very thankful that I'm saying this out loud right now and having these conversations, because there's another person that I'm around quite frequently who is very judgmental, and I find myself getting wrapped up in the conversation, and it's like, I know when the conversation's happening, it doesn't feel good. I feel it in my body, doesn't feel good one bit. Because most of the time it's criticizing them, right? Being very
Yeah.
critical about people, and but as human and default, I get sucked into the conversation. So so it's very, as always, when Bev and I come together, we have these conversations. There's always something that we take away from it. And this is mine today, is just a huge reminder of judgment, so, and criticism.
And we create from all those places. It's 100% what we create. And guess what? I'm sitting here thinking as you're talking about that, because in a relationship, with any relationships I have, I'm learning the best thing I can do is focus on all the positive. When someone passes away, for me, in my experience, I remember all the good stuff about them. I don't remember the bad stuff. There is no bad stuff. And it's like for me, I'm getting to that place to appreciate people while they're here. I'm looking at all the good stuff because that kind of gets them off the hook. Then they don't have to be on the hook to trigger me for something inside, for me to see something with inside myself. So I kind of let them off the hook. And you're doing the same thing for a lot of people too. And then when we're in that space of that, in that place, because we are going to be around people sometimes, because it's seeing how we're going to respond to it. How does it feel that are going to, it's going to make us feel uncomfortable. And I guess in those points, it's like taking a breath and call on your guides, or, just uplift your heart. Like there's so many different things that we can do in that moment, but because it is easy to get swept away into that energy. It really is. But again, and I'm going to talk about it more in the next video, is when we're in judgment, we're creating. We're always creating, and we're not necessarily creating the things that we want. And so I'm in a space these days where if my mind starts to think, oh, what if this is happening? I could use a male-female relationship, husband, wife, or whatever. What if this is going on? And it's like you keep thinking about all that stuff and you run on that track, because I've done it. But on the opposite side of that is all the amazing things that that person does all the time that you love. Or you've had an experience with someone in your life that has done those things. And I'm creating from a space. So if I'm creating from a space, I'm creating from a space of all my relationships are authentic, transparent, loving, nurturing, guiding, supportive. Like I'm putting, it's given me the opportunity, because I was being triggered in that space or noticing how I was thinking, to put me into a new place, a new thought pattern of always trying to find something positive about the person. And now that I'm saying this out loud, I'm recognizing how I don't do that for myself. So now that's my next part of my plan, is that every time I see something wrong or what I perceive as wrong with myself, I'm going to find the positives within myself. And that's going to change things. Well, I love how Spirit just kind of just told me, just saying, just got told. So that was cool. Again, like you said, the conversations, there is such a benefit, but they're a benefit to me too.
Yeah, I'm like, we're having our own aha
Selfishly,
moments today. Don't worry about it.
because I was judging myself looking in the mirror this morning. I was judging myself, and it's like, whoa, what happened to you, girl? You need to drink some more water. So I'm having this conversation, but not looking at the positive. And it's like, now that even as we're having the conversation, I'm realizing all the words and terminology and the feelings that I put towards myself lately, judging myself. But yeah, so creating. So now I'm going to sit down today, because I learned this from you, but I'm going to sit down today and I'm going to write out this information about myself, of all the things that I like about myself. And that's what my focus is going to be. Because really, that's what everything outside of me was just leading me back into me. It's like, hey, what about me? Hey, you're talking shit. You're not thinking nice thoughts about yourself right now. And it's not just appreciating where you're at. It's not, because it's not me just appreciating where I'm at. It's appreciating all the things about me that I've done that feels good. Whatever feels good to raise my vibrational frequency.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to add, because that award, the nominee submission was about accomplishments, because it's a community award. So what have I done to inspire community? And so that was what I had to go back and reread, was my accomplishments. So I was going to say, along with writing down what it is you like about yourself, what's been your accomplishments? Because when you really sit down and start writing those out, like when I went back and read, because this was a month and a half ago, no, right about a month ago, that I wrote this, probably 5 weeks ago, that I wrote this submission. I had actually forgot what I wrote. There's all the things going on, getting back into my life, getting back into work, working extra long hours, like all the things. But I actually forgot when it was announced of that I was receiving the award in front of all these women. I forgot what I wrote. So I had to go back and reread it. And it was about my accomplishments. And so I think that's super key also, not just writing down the things you like about yourself, because sometimes people may struggle with that. But if you write down, what have you survived? Right? I've survived abuse, molestation, um, you know, uh, rejection, abandonment. But when I break those down into the stories of what that was pertaining to, and here I am all these years later with a completely different outlook on life and um, happier than I ever was back then, that is what's huge. And that's a fantastic reminder of um, your growth. And how are you, like, just, with your business, I'm going to use that as an example. You went from, not to demean what you do, but I'm going to say you probably went from just doing massage all the time to a deeper meaning of the massage and listening to the body, and then letting people know, you have some stuck energy here, what's going on in your life, and now you're more consoling, and then you're coaching, and then you're having these deeper conversations with your clients and making a difference in their life. And so that evolution of that, but you had to go through all your stuff and healing and the journey it took for you to get there. So that's the focus. What was your journey to take you from, oh, I'm going to go to massage school, to, man, I'm having some super deep conversations with my clients? That's the journey that matters. That all those, as a huge reminder of where you've been and where you are. And when you take that into consideration, we all deserve an award, right? We all,
Yeah.
that's huge.
And the areas we were coming from in those time frames too, because you
Yeah.
said that it's like, man, at the time when I went off to massage school, I was escaping. I was
Yep.
escaping a relationship I didn't know what to do with. I was trying to escape being unhappy all the time. And it's been a progression. It has been a process. I never looked at it the way you just said it out loud. So it's like that's pretty much it. Because you start off with your trade, you're being taught something and you're doing it, but it's like it turns out to be so much more. And it's like all along this journey, I have changed. It's helped to grow me or cultivate me into something else. Now, where am I going? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got a lot of nuggets out of this one. So, and Bev and I have work to do now too. So,
That's right.
like, oh crap, I got to go back to the drawing board here, pen and paper. Uh, anyway, um, you don't have to step into coaching or teaching or anything like that. You can be resourceful and just share the content that's resonating with you. Share it with your friends, family, coworkers, somebody in the grocery line that, hey, you listen to this content, and it could be ours or somebody else's. Doesn't matter to us. That the point is, people showing up to be influencers, to have a positive effect on your life, and other people are seeking that too. So whatever resonates with you, maybe share it, or share the resource, the podcast, the book, the teacher, whatever that might be. So you can find us on many platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Spreaker, Spotify, and Podcast Addict. And it's super simple to just hit the share button. I do it quite frequently. So any final words, Bev?
Find ways to be in joy.
Ah, absolutely. And one of those things could be, make a list of all your accomplishments, because there's probably way more than you know or have given yourself
Exactly.
credit for.
Yep.
All right, friends. Thanks for hanging out with us. Tea Time with Amy and Bev. We'll see you in the next video.
Bye.